I was hacked. Yeah, I honestly cannot believe this actually happened. So, to understand how this happened, we have to go back to October 27th, which was around 3 days ago as of recording this video. Okay, I was just chilling on my computer as always, and I went to check my Twitter DMs to see what's up. I then realized I have a DM from a person claiming to be a marketing affiliate or something from the company known as Shopify, which you've probably heard of. They were offering to have a sponsored segment on my channel or a one-time sponsored segment, and this was already my first mistake because the way I checked to see if this was legit or not, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but I did a sloppy job at verifying the legitimacy of this claim. All I did was just check their Twitter profile, and I saw that they retweeted a bunch of Shopify related tweets, and apparently that's all I needed for my dumb brain to be convinced that this person is 100% talking the truth. I didn't even check if the official Shopify Twitter account even followed this person. I didn't even search up the person's name at all. Like, looking back on this, obviously you can see just how stupid this was, and I take full responsibility because usually I'm insanely careful when approached with sponsorships. Anyway, after I did a horrendous job at verifying the legitimacy of this, I just said I accept the sponsorship and asked what to do next. After a little while, they came back to me and asked me to sign an NDA. Now, if you don't know what an NDA is, it's pretty simple. It's short for a non-disclosure agreement, or in other words, don't leak anything and you're fine. And since I've had sponsorships that require me to sign an NDA, I didn't really give this a second thought, and I just did what they said. To sign this NDA, I had to use a website they said was docufastsign.com. Now, DocuSign is something I'm already familiar with, but I've never heard of docufastsign.com. So I was a bit suspicious already, but the website looked quite legit. And again, I stupidly decided to move forward with this insanely sketchy brand deal. I then pasted the invite code they gave me to download the PDF file so I could sign this thing. And this is where everything came crashing down, because as I was trying to download this PDF, a weird WinRAR started downloading and it was all in Russian. And me being me, I was just confused and tried again, and of course it didn't work. After that, I just sort of let this go and deleted the file and reached back to them to sort of let them know that the PDF file doesn't work. And oh my god, this couldn't have been better timing for these fucking scumbags, because right after I sent them that message, I literally left my PC to do some cleaning in my room. After about 30 minutes or an hour, I then come back to my PC of me being logged out of my Google account. Now, this has happened to me before, not being ratted, but me being randomly logged out of my account due to a weird bug. So I didn't stress it and just tried logging back in again. As I typed out my password to my account and pressed enter, it didn't say you logged in. No. It said password changed less than an hour ago. And at that very moment, I had just realized, oh fuck, I just got hacked. And once again, just me being me, I tried multiple times to log in to no avail. Instantly, I went to Twitter to make an announcement to YouTube directly to spread the word that I was hacked. I did that and pinged everyone in my Discord server. I also went on to minemen.club on my main account and literally banned myself just in case. I also just told any staff member that had messaged me about the confusion to not unban me until I tell them to. It was sort of radio silence after a little while as I go into a call with my friend Blisolic, who actually played a key role into getting my shit back. Anyway, after what seemed like forever, YouTube finally responded back and DM'd me on Twitter and just gave me the same copy-pasted message they always use. I swear, sometimes it just looks like they want to piss you off, because at this point I was genuinely so angry, sad, confused, and not to mention stressed the fuck out. I sent them everything they needed, or at least what I thought they needed. Me and Blisolic then parted ways because he had to have dinner, and 20 or 30 minutes later, my Twitter account was compromised. I was logged out of it, and the tweet of me atting YouTube was deleted by the hijackers. I'm not even gonna lie, at this point I felt so defeated, and I was sort of just laying on my desk repeatedly saying, this has to be a bad dream, bro. Like, I didn't want to believe it, but it was happening at the same time. All I could think about was how much this absolutely sucked, and I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted to die, man. I know it sounds kind of pathetic, but YouTube is kind of my whole life, and I just couldn't believe this happened because I've always been so careful with stuff like this, and I couldn't believe this was going on. But again, I have to give credit where it's due, and Blisolic, or Bliss, I know you're probably watching this, thank you for reassuring me so many times and just making sure all of this had a fix to it. Anyway, after I lost my Twitter, I remembered I had a different Twitter that I didn't use, and I made a second announcement in my Discord server, pretty much just saying I lost access to my account there as well. At this point, not really much happened, to be honest. It went quite a while without anything really happening. I was just so defeated and devastated that I just didn't want to think think about it anymore. So I went downstairs to hang out with my mother instead. And there on my phone, I got another notification saying that the password on my email account has been changed once again. I then searched up my channel on my other YouTube account and realized that all 577 videos on my channel were private. Everything was gone. My channel profile picture, my banner, my YouTube handle, my name even, and just about everything was gone. This was also the point where I was in the process of completely factory resetting my PC. My friend Blasolek told me to do this to ensure that the rat was completely gone. I basically had no choice, so I really just did what he said. I really did not want to because I had a bunch of clips that I wanted to keep, but I didn't really have a way of backing them up without taking too much storage on alternative drives. So the only option I had was to factory reset it, and for the next several hours, that's what my PC did. However, at around 10 or 11 p.m. my time, I mean, at this point, I was in bed early because I just didn't want to think about this entire fiasco. But once again, Blasolek came in clutch and told me that he had received an update regarding my Gmail. Because I couldn't contact YouTube or email myself, Blasolek decided to step in and contact them on my behalf. And he had updated me with Google directly saying that my email is now locked. Nobody has access to it, not even the hijackers. Honestly, this was a huge relief for me, because if the hackers no longer have access to my account, they can't do any further damage to my channel. And believe me, they were about to start a crypto scam live stream and potentially scam hundreds if not thousands of people, using Donald Trump and Elon Musk as a forefront to their scam. But again, at this point, nobody had access to the email, and I was satisfied enough to finally sleep as my PC was factory resetting. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. to complete a fresh installation of Windows on my PC, and after that was done, I just went straight back to bed again. However, the hacker did something quite interesting. He actually went on to direct message a bunch of Minecraft YouTubers that I was following, asking them for a collab for some reason. He was also offering them $1,500, which like didn't make sense at all, but that's what he did. Thankfully, however, no one to my knowledge fell for this, and I just gotta say, I'm so sorry for causing this bullshit because this is literally all my fault. Me and Blasolek then went back and forth with Google because they had to be absolutely sure that it was me trying to sign into my account again, so we provided all the proof and evidence that we could that they asked for, that only I would know about. I also just have to thank Google for acting pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't feel like they did anything, but they did all of this within 5 hours. So even though I was talking a lot of smack behind closed doors about YouTube and Google, I really have to thank them for acting quickly and thinking fast in a situation like this. It really seemed like forever, but with a stroke of luck, I was able to get into my Gmail account again, but I couldn't really use it. The hijackers had managed to get 2FA on their own mobile devices, and since the hijackers had removed my phone number, I still had no way of really using my own account. Like, I couldn't access my YouTube studio or anything because that needed 2FA. However, I was able to change the password to my email so that the hijackers would genuinely have no idea. I was also able to get some interesting information about the hijackers as well. I actually found out what country these guys are from. It could just be a VPN, but either way, I'm fairly certain these guys were from Ukraine and Belarus, and one of the hackers' mobile devices was an iPhone 13. So that's pretty interesting to find out. But again, I'm not sure if this information is 100% accurate. After 2 days, I was still stuck on my account not being able to do anything. We didn't hear anything from Google, nor did they really do anything about this or give us any updates. At this point, I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to get really impatient because we were so close yet so far just to returning back to normal. Google kept saying they were working on it and kept giving us useless steps to follow that looked eerily similar to the steps they gave before. Like, they kept telling me to send my IP address and all the devices I used multiple times. It honestly didn't seem like they were listening because once again, all they had to do was just remove the hijacker's phone from my account. But for some unknown reason, Google was taking their sweet time with this shit, and I'm not gonna lie, it was really starting to make me impatient and frustrated. I get that Google was trying to do this as securely as possible, but at the same time, the phone number the hijackers used was not the same as my actual one. Google knows this, and they can most likely see that my phone number was removed from the 2FA. It really sounds like I'm going back and forth with being nice to Google. Like, literally a few seconds ago, I was just saying how much I appreciated them for acting fast, but this was just the reality of the situation. It was so confusing and frustrating. Like, it felt like we were giving Google absolutely every bit of information about me, and they still weren't convinced that it was just me trying to get my account back. At this point, it had been over 2 days since I lost my account without really getting much help from Google. Another day passed. It had now been 3 days since my account was compromised. YouTube refused to remove the hijacker's phone from my account and told me it would take, for some unknown reason, take 14 days for the change to take effect. If they have the tools to remove a phone number, which they thankfully did, then how do they not have the tools to remove the 2FA completely from my account? And why does it take 14 days in cases with such urgency? At this point, I was almost certain I would use my YouTube handle and I'd never be able to get it back. If you don't know what YouTube handles are, it's basically your @ on YouTube, and my @ was Jonah. So now why was I afraid to lose my handle? Well, coincidentally, 14 days is also the same amount of days a handle takes to expire. And if you can't tell, my handle was changed twice to Elon Corp, and now it was changed to my channel. So yeah, I was kind of pissed off at this point because I felt like me and YouTube were just going in circles and not getting anything done. But after 16 days of inactivity on my channel, on November 12th, I finally successfully logged into my account again after all this time. I want to thank everyone for their everlasting support. I'd like to thank Google, YouTube, my YouTube rep, and my friends for helping in this time of need. I'm super excited to post videos again. I got so much ready for you lot. And also make sure you subscribe because I lost like 700 or so help a brother out, man. Anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you later. Peace.